Hey guys, what is up? Alex Scott here with Consordini.com. Thank you so much for checking out another one of our super cool studio gear reviews. Now, the plug-in review for you guys today, we are looking at the TAL U-No-LX. You know what it is. These guys at TAL are just awesome. We did a review of their vocoder plugin, which is a free plugin that they offer a couple of months ago. They saw that video, so they really enjoyed the review and got in touch with us, asked us if we wanted to take a look at some of their other plugins. They sent me some licenses for their premium plugins, of which this is one. So thank you so much to the guys at TAL, particularly Patrick, who reached out to us. We really appreciate you getting in touch with us and all that good stuff. We're loving working with your stuff, and I'm definitely going to be using it a lot in my workflow in the future because they're just fantastic plugins. But in any case, today we are looking at, like I said, the TAL U-No-LX, and you know, I'm sure, looking at the screen, exactly what this is supposed to be. It's Roland Juno, right? Classic analog synth from Roland from the early 1980s. A great synth, and this is a great emulation of this synth. So I'm not going to be spending a ton of time going through all of the features in the plugin itself. It's just the Juno. You know, it's the Juno that we all know and love. And if you guys are familiar with the Roland Juno, then you'll know exactly how all of this stuff works. But what I do love right off the bat about this, I mean, first of all, they nailed the look. I love the look. Very authentic. Immediately, you know what it is. I love the name too. I think it's really funny. But it comes with, my goodness, so many fantastic presets. Some of them are very close to original presets that came with the later Junos once they started implementing preset storage on them. And then some of them are of their own creation. So we have the Juno Factory Bank A, so this would be all your original Juno sounds. And then we also have TAL's own presets that they have created. So I just want to go through and we'll just play and listen to some of these presets so you guys can kind of get a feel for how it sounds. They've done a great job emulating a lot of the girth and the warmth that comes from this synth originally. So here is Apollo Pad. Very nice. This is, I believe, one of the sounds that the guys at TAL actually created for this. And you just immediately can tell, yep, it's a Juno, and they've done, again, a great job emulating that warmth that the Juno is so well known for. I've got my MIDI controller over here, by the way, which is why I keep looking over. That's a basic pad. And basic it is, but it still sounds great. It sounds very authentic. Ooh. Very nice. They do, of course, have the Arpeggiator in here and all the other controls that you would expect. They've got our classic little choruses 1 and 2, which are, legendary choruses. They do sound fantastic. Some keys sound dark roads. Very, very nice. Now, just for fun, let's take a listen to some of the original Juno sounds. Oh, yeah. You just hear it and you just instantly know, yep, that's a Juno. Strings 1, strings 2. That nice, wide, classic chorus. Now, the one thing that is not in here, at least to my knowledge, I am not saying that they've emulated any of one of the things that the Juno was famous for, which was being very noisy, especially when you flipped on these choruses, especially chorus 2, if I remember. There's a lot of analog hiss and noise to it. That is not in here. I know that that's kind of a debate in the plugin community. There's some plugin emulations that are like, no, we have to make the original unit sound exactly as it did, good and bad. So that noise, all of that kind of interference and hiss of the circuits, that makes it into the plugin as well. They sometimes actually spend quite a bit of time trying to nail that and get the texture of the noise just right. Now, there's some guys who aren't going to mind that. I personally don't mind that. I think that noise can add some texture and some authenticity, but it can also get in the way. There's a reason we've progressed in our synth design and the design of all gear really over the years to eliminate a lot of that noise. And so There's guys who are going to say, well, it's not a real Juno emulation unless it's noisy and funky and has all the quirks of the real original unit. And then there are going to be guys who say, nah, doesn't really matter. Sounds like a Juno. And if I can have a Juno without the noise, even better, because who wants noise in their recording? It's really just a thing of personal preference. I do kind of wish that they had included an option in here to maybe bring that in. But regardless, it sounds great. Like that's really the important part here is that, I mean, they've really nailed the texture in a very special way. Organ. You know, I've used original Junos quite a few times. I used to have the Roland Boutique, the little mini Juno, and that is a digital device as well. But like in that, for instance, Roland did go to the trouble to emulate that noise. He would kick in one of the choruses and it would just be Hiss City on that thing. And it was cool, you know, because it really made it sound and feel like an old analog synth with all of its blemishes and imperfections. But this, you know, tone-wise, you can tell just a little bit that it's a plugin. You know, it does sound very perfect, but at the same time, the texture really is there. You know, they have done a great job of really making the oscillators sound and feel authentic. The original Celesta sound. Just beautiful, you know. So I'm very, very impressed with the emulation. You know, like I said, it does sound very clean and very, very perfect, but it also sounds like a Juno. It really, really does. And that is a feat in and of itself. Are there going to be some guys out there who say, yeah, but it's not noisy and it doesn't, you know, there's these blemishes in the original that it's not recreating? Yes, that's true. But at the same time, sounds like a Juno and sounds great at that. We all know the Juno. We all love the Juno. If you do anything from this era, early to mid 80s dance and pop and all that. And even, I mean, they still use the Juno today. I mean, the Stranger Things theme is all, you know, there's tons of Juno in the soundtrack for Stranger Things. It's still a very popular synth to this day. So if you like the sound of the Juno, you're looking for an easy, affordable alternative to some of the more expensive emulations out there, I think this is a great option. You know, there's a few features, like I said, you know, that noise and this kind of the imperfections and stuff that it does not emulate as much, and some guys are going to miss that. But other than that, I think all around it's a very, very strong take on the Juno sound. It's got a ton of presets, which, you know, I always love. I'm sure you guys have seen me say that in lots of other videos. I love it when I get a synth, especially in plugin world, from a manufacturer, and they've included a ton of presets that just get me up and running right off the bat. I don't, you know, being a producer, I don't always have time to sit there and fiddle and get my patch exactly right or build a whole patch from the get-go. So having access to some killer sounding presets, including the original presets from the original unit, as well as some new cool ones from the company, I think is great. You can always pull one of those up that gets you close and then go in and tweak it to your own liking. You know, there's all kinds of options, there always are. But I think overall they've done a great job. You know, if you want a plugin that sounds like a Juno, this is a fabulous option for you guys. But what do you think? What Juno emulations or Juno plugins do you guys like? Have you used the TAL one? Are there other ones that you prefer? Have you used the Roland Boutique one? Do you want an original? Whatever you may think or whatever your experience may be, definitely leave it in the comments below. Always love hearing from you guys, going back and forth, all that good stuff. If you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the Consordini channel. That helps us out a ton. Click that notification bell so you'll always stay up to date as we post new videos. And if you want to give this video a like or a share, we would really appreciate that as well. In any case, my name is Alex Scott with Consordini.com. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.